The work I have chosen to study for my personal investigative project is titled The Great Wave of Kanagawa by the Japanese artist Hokusai Katsushika. I first discovered this work when I ordered a poster of it off of Amazon for my bedroom. I've always loved the ocean and waves, so I thought the image was beautiful. I wasn't sure of the method used to produce the artwork, but I knew it was not a traditional paint and brush method. Although it was different, it definitely interested me and drew me to the piece even more. I also knew that the artwork's origin was Japanese, and this was something that made it even more special, as I've always had an interest in Japanese art and culture. Little did I know it was arguably the most popular woodblock print Japan had ever produced. When I moved to SLO, I brought this poster with me, and when this project came along, I thought of no better work that I wanted to learn more about. Quickly after I began my research, I realized that the prominent woodblock, the Great Wave of Kanagawa, exemplifies a popularization of Japanese art and culture. Japanese woodblock is an especially skillful method of producing artworks that can be both very detailed and mass-produced. In Japan, the preferred variety of wood used for woodblock production was wild mountain cherry wood, which was readily available in areas near Tokyo. Surprisingly enough, the best cuts of cherry wood often came from areas close to the coast. Japanese woodblock technique is also very delicate in that artists most often cut the knife with the grain of the wood rather than against it. This is what makes those perfect flowing lines possible. A great example of another prominent woodblock is Shoki the Demon Queller by Yutagawa Kunisada, which depicts a Chinese legend that was popularized later on in Japan. Shoki was known as an outcast that fought for good. He was most popular on the Japanese holiday known as Boys' Day. According to tradition, this was a day when bad luck and spirits are abound, and Shoki is used to protect homes from these bad spirits. This woodblock print is a depiction of a great hero in Japan. Another example of how woodblock often showcases extremely popularized legends and places in Japan. Yet another example of Japanese woodblock entitled Basket Fairy by Ando or Yutagawa Hiroshige brings in the ukiyo-e aspect of Japanese art. Ukiyo-e art flourished during the Edo period and most often depicted pictures of the floating world. It was originally a Buddhist concept exemplifying the sadness, yuki, of life, yo, but was transformed into a dreamlike style by Japanese artists. Hokusai was partial to this type of art, and the artist of Basket Fairy, Ando Hiroshige, looked up to Hokusai, which explains why much of his artwork is in the floating world style as well. Ando is known for depicting everyday landscapes like Basket Fairy in a dreamlike style, making them popular among the everyday Japanese people. His works can also be mass-produced due to the woodblock method. There are many speculated reasons as to why Hokusai chose to depict such great waves off the coast of Kanagawa. It is known that the Japanese truly believed that the waves surrounding their country protected them from outside forces. There are even stories about gods and goddesses using the waves to conquer other countries that contribute to this Japanese ideal. This reason alone obviously does give some insight to Hokusai's choice of a wave, along with the fact that he was interested in waves throughout nearly his entire artistic career. What the Great Wave of Kanagawa did, unlike many other woodblock prints, was represent the outside world both in an artistic manner and a theoretical manner. Not only was Hokusai using ukiyo-e to depict a dreamlike wave, but he was also using the general public's fascination and curiosity to depict a scene of new foreign individuals traveling into the country via their beautiful bays that contained waves like those in the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Although this piece speaks to foreign invasion, it also speaks to Mount Fuji itself, which Hokusai was very partial to. This is obvious due to the fact that one of his largest collections, 100 Views of Mount Fuji, is focused solely on the many different angles of the mountain. This mountain was very special to the Japanese culture, and the Seven-League Beach at Enoshima that is depicted in the Great Wave held a very important role in the lives of the Japanese middle class, which Hokusai's print was mainly intended for. On the beach and depicted in the print is the shrine of Benten beneath Mount Fuji. This shrine was only accessible during low tide, which made it difficult to get to. Often when people would travel there, it would result in short, sensual engagements, because the shrine was simply unreachable. This contributes to this woodblock's popularization. So, while Hokusai was able to depict a beautiful beach with crashing waves, which was also the site of many steamy happenings, he also spoke to foreign invasion as well. This piece both conceptualizes the place, nature, and mountain of the Seven League Beach while theorizing about who might use the same beach the Japanese loved to come into their land. The aesthetics of Japanese woodblock are extremely important in the history of depicting objects, places, and people that were very popularized in Japan. The delicacy of the artists, along with the use of beautifully pigmented colors, contribute heavily to what made these pieces so prominent throughout the Japanese middle class. And as stated many times before, the ability of these pieces to be reproduced is vital in their circulation, popularity, and fame in the Japanese culture and art history. Although many of these works take a huge amount of skill to produce the first time around, once the perfect image is achieved, it's able to circulate like wildfire, being reproduced, admired, and stapled in Japanese history forever. Overall, Hokusai's The Great Wave of Kanagawa affected the Japanese people of its time not only because of the woodblock's ability to be mass-produced, but also because of the popularity and mysterious vibe of the Seven League Beach and the people's love for Mount Fuji. The artwork not only inspired passion for the bay and the beach it depicted, but it also sparked a curiosity and conceptualization of who would be entering upon those bays in the future.